now, I'm a very, very different person to the person I was when I started my bookkeeping business. And I'm proud of that. And it's a great place to be. So don't stay in your comfort zone. Look for every opportunity.
You're listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with your host, Michael Palmer. Listen each week as inspiring guests share their secrets of success to help you increase your confidence, work smarter, and build a business you love. This episode of The Successful Bookkeeper is brought to you by PureBookkeeping.com, the proven system to grow your bookkeeping business.
Welcome back to The Successful Bookkeeper and Happy New Year. It is 2022 and I hope your holidays were fun and safe and you had lots of opportunity to spend time with the people you love, doing the things that you love to do. This is part 2 of our year in review with our terrific bookkeeping panel composed of Debbie Roberts, Katrina Aarsman, Julie Watson, Jessica Fox, and Teresa Slack. We'll chat about strategies that they use to give them the results that they got in 2021 and so much more. So let's get to it. We've talked a little bit about surprises, setbacks, heartwarming stories, heartbreaks. I'd like to know what's worked in your businesses in terms of the strategies that you've applied. What was creating the results for you in 2021?
The biggest results for me have been the seeds that I planted in creating content. It still shocks me to this day how a video that may have taken me 3 minutes to record or a blog post that I may have spent 20 minutes writing and posted years ago are generating a steady stream of leads and new clients every week. And I hope that this inspires listeners to stop overthinking. You have valuable information that you can share. It doesn't need to be fancy or flashy. Just a few minutes to give that golden nugget that those that need you will be like, wow, they know their stuff. I am going to call them up.
That's great, Jessica.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's very inspiring too. A similar activity that I recently did was just a quick, simple blog post in a Facebook group with a referral to, would you like a copy of this productivity video? And I wasn't sure how it would go, if it would just have crickets, if it was useful for anybody. And the post just went off and I had probably over 300 people request the video.
Wow.
So it's an opportunity to put something that you do know out there. And it was just a short little video, but it was something specific that the people that are, reading the posts wanted. And it's a good way of being able to add value to the community, to the Facebook groups that you're involved in, and also have conversations and connections with those people. So people were asking for it and then they've said, it was great, it made an impact. And then you have the conversation. You can go back and forwards. Well, where are you up to with, what you're doing at the moment? What can I help you with? Is there something else that I can provide? So it's just opening up that door to have those conversations. So that, follows on from, exactly what you said, Jessica. It's just simple. You've already got it. People want it. And just putting something simple out there into Facebook groups that you are in, where small businesses are, that want this particular, whatever it is that you're offering, if it's a blog or a little video or a checklist, and people are, screaming for it, then it's a winner.
Yeah. I created a couple of ebooks in the last year that have done really quite well. Of course, around the e-commerce space and how to help businesses transition to online and helping accounting professionals know how to deal with the complexities of e-commerce accounting. Those two have generated a lot of interest, which has been really, really helpful for us. And certainly one of the big wins for us this year is that we did launch our training academy for accounting professionals on how to manage e-commerce accounting. So that's gone really, really well for us this year.
Remarkable. So a big theme is content. So strategy, I'd say everyone's been mentioning content, and listener, that is an opportunity for you. That's the beautiful thing about thought leadership, is that everyone has something to give. You've lived your life, you have experiences, you do different things. There's something unique about you. And if you can share that and bring that out, it allows the world to get to know you very quickly and get value from you and want to work with you. So I love that for this year, and as well, starting to think about it into 2022. What about failed strategies or things that you think we could do better?
Well, tying into the same theme about content, I am still kicking myself because I haven't been able to maintain a steady content creation and sharing schedule. And the gurus and the coaches said, oh, you need to blog regularly. You need to send newsletters regularly. You need to post video or people forget you. And I know that used to paralyze me so long because I was busy and I was worried that I would not be inspired, that the muses will desert me. But you know what? Don't let that stop you. Because like I said, I may create a video and then go 2 months without posting anything. And my audience doesn't care, because what was already posted was valuable and it keeps showing up in Google search results when somebody is searching for the problem that I am addressing. So don't let that stop you, because that was my strategy for this year. I am going to create content monthly. Life happened. I got new clients, can't complain. It was a blessing, but then it meant I just didn't have time.
Yeah, I've had the same thing, Jessica, and it's nice to hear you say that, because I've struggled with that a lot, like knowing that I need to have content, knowing that I need to be, and then failing to get that done. So thank you for saying that, because I think often bookkeepers, we're harder on ourselves than we should be. And I think the other thing that we do sometimes is not realize how valuable those little golden nuggets are. We think it's every day because we know it. It's like, oh yeah, right? We're not remembering that little piece of information could change a business's perspective and could actually help them. So I think sometimes we don't realize just how much bookkeepers know and how much value we have to offer. And I think a lot of us suffer from imposter syndrome, where, oh, I can't do that. I'm not that. And yeah, bookkeepers are all that. And we just have to recognize that.
Yes. And speaking of imposter syndrome, I used to feel like, well, there's all this knowledge already. All of the questions that people have, somebody else already has a YouTube video about it. Somebody else already wrote a blog post.
Right.
Why should I do that? But then I learned that we all have our own unique styles. And the style that I present the information resonates to the people that are my target audience that I am most empowered to help. So to those listening, having those same thoughts, don't let that stop you. There is plenty of room for everybody to share their expertise in their own personal style.
Love that.
What about never do again? Was there anything you did this year that you're like, I will never do that again?
Well, I can share one that Debbie knows very, very well, and that is never give a new client to a new bookkeeping team member. That was one of our biggest fails that happened in 2020. And it's been kind of my mantra this whole year, like, do not. And sometimes that's actually hard to do, because, as you're building and growing your business, your team is getting filled up. And you're trying to bring new people in, and you've got new clients and new bookkeepers. You're trying to shift bookkeeping clients around so that you're not giving a new bookkeeper a new client. So,
yeah. And I think in terms of never do things again, you've heard me say more than once, quite publicly, that I think I've made every conceivable mistake that a bookkeeper could make when I was growing my business. And there were biggies and small ones, and but lots of ones where that caused a great deal of pain, and you learn from that, I think. And one of the biggest lessons for me on my journey was when something bad happened, you go, okay, how did I contribute to that? What have I learned from that? And finish off with, what system do I need to put in place to make sure that doesn't happen again? It's all around that. So, yes, we all make mistakes. Don't beat yourself up over it. Just, I know you will, because that's what we do. But don't spend too much time beating yourself up. If you have that became my mantra. Right, okay, this has happened. All right, take a big breath. Yep, I'll deal with the whatever I have to, conversation with the client, or you've got to deal with the mess caused by that mistake. But then it's always, my mantra was, okay, I never want to go through this ever again. What system do I need to put in place? And whether that's an onboarding system, something in your HR, something in your bookkeeping processes, not enough information. It's really, we take responsibility for it because the buck stops with us as the business owner. But don't waste time beating yourself up over it. Create a system to avoid that from happening again, and then move on. And that will be part of your journey, is always updating your systems to make them, mistake-proof, if you like.
Yeah.
I really felt
advice.
that, Debbie, because I've gone through the same thought process. So now, right below my monitor, I have this little Post-it note that says, pain plus reflection equals progress. So anytime I make a mistake and I am kicking myself over it, I give myself a time. I set a timer. I give myself 3 minutes to throw a tantrum and feel bad about this. And then I am going to reflect of what is this teaching me and what can I do so that I won't make the same mistake again. Because the key is, I know other mistakes will come, but as long as it's not the same one, I am okay with that.
Yes, that's right.
You're so right. As we grow, we just create new mistakes, as your business changes, when you go from being a solo bookkeeper to having a team to building a firm, you make mistakes all the way along the way, and you just get new ones, and you learn new stuff all the time and go, okay, that didn't work. All right, let's do something else. Right?
Yeah, we can never claim to know everything, because some new wrench will always come. Even if we have our systems down packed, the software may do a change, or maybe sold off and changed into something. The government can change regulations and not have given clear instructions. I could give so many examples. So, but the key is the same. We just adapt and move on.
Yeah, adapt and move on. That's right. And I think some of the learning that happens with a mistake is not just about a system or a process. It's actually an opportunity for personal development and personal growth. And it's like facing your fears. If you hate marketing, which most bookkeepers do, we're not good at it, we don't like it, we prefer just to do a good job and get some referrals. But if you go out, for example, and you're going to a networking meeting and you don't know what you're going to say and you muck it up and then you think, well, I'm never going to do that again. I'll never go to a networking meeting because I'm bad at it. And so you don't. But rather than say, I'll never do that again, because networking is a very effective marketing strategy. So the exercise then is, okay, well, how can I become better at marketing? And facing your fears, walking into a door of a networking group and feeling sweaty and clammy and uncomfortable and your heart is racing, but eventually becoming okay with that. And that is part of your growth. You then discovered that you faced your fears. You did some exercises to make you good at marketing, at networking in particular. and then it's no longer a thing. You're actually good at it. You're a great networker. But it's if you stopped at that door because you're fearful, no, I can't do that. I don't want to have that conversation. I'm not going to face those fears. If you don't push through that barrier, then you'll always be stuck in that room, or you'll be stuck outside of that room, inside your comfort zone, which is not very comfortable, really, inside your comfort zone. What I discovered over the 13 or 14 years of growing my business, I thought I had just started a bookkeeping business, but what I learned was that I learned more about myself than I could ever have learned in any other situation. And I learned about my weaknesses, the baggage that I carried. And each time I came across a situation, I'd go, oh, no, that's another thing I've got to, what do I need to learn? How do I need to grow? Yeah. What can I do to embrace this? But I can promise you that every time you step out of your comfort zone, as scary and all as it is, and you learn a new skill or you face your fear, you will grow as a person and you will become someone different. You'll become confident. And you just look, what I've learned, where I've become or how I've become now is I'm a very, very different person to the person I was when I started my bookkeeping business. And I'm proud of that. And it's a great place to be. So don't stay in your comfort zone. Look for every opportunity. In fact, Peter Cook, when he was coaching me, used to say he would take every opportunity that he had to force me out of my comfort zone. And it was scary, but it's worth it. It is absolutely worth it.
Yeah, I agree with that, Debbie. And I would also say that if you find you're getting stuck in your comfort zone, like the networking meeting example, is reach out to somebody, because I found in my journey that when I was stuck in a kind of opinion about something or a decision about something that I can't do it, if I had a mentor to reach out to, or I reached out to somebody in the community who was doing that thing successfully, they would give me a different perspective. And I think that the biggest turns in my career have been when I have had a wonderful conversation, and I can remember every single one of them. One of those pivotal conversations where you happen to say, oh, I'm really bad at networking, or whatever it is that you are struggling with. And then that person says, okay, have you thought about it like this? So I think it's good to reach out, because you sometimes have fears that are really wrong, and they're really like based on your own experience and your own perception, which can be incorrect. And you think, well, I'm never going to be able to do that. I'm not cut out for that. That's something I'm just not going to be able to overcome, until you speak to someone who has and gives you a completely different way to look at it.
Absolutely,
so true.
100%.
So true.
Yeah. Having a mentor, I mean, Peter Cook was my mentor. So Julie, yes, absolutely. He was the one that helped me see that some of my preconceived ideas about how the world works and how I fit into that, where he would just question me all the time. He'd say, why do you think that? And sometimes wasn't even aware of what I said. I couldn't, it was so ingrained in me that I thought this was the truth, and he would pull me up and say, well, why do you think that? And I go, what did I just say? And so you can become so ingrained. Absolutely agree, 100%, Julie, that to have someone who you trust, whoever that is, family member, friend, colleague, who you trust them to be able to say, question you and question what you're saying and how you're thinking, and you being okay with that because you trust them, that they're not having a go at you, that's going to make the journey that much easier.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So some great stuff, and I always just love putting brilliant people together to talk about things because so much gold comes out of it. Let's talk about the trends of 2021? What shifted in the industry in 2021? We talked a little bit about advisory right out of the gate, but have you seen other things that you've seen of things shifting in the industry?
I have. I am noticing this trend with accounting software providers trying to become the be-all and all for business owners. For example, buying other companies to offer additional services that you would not normally associate with accounting software, like marketing, banking, lending. And that comes with some growing pains and some challenges because those companies present these products that are very enticing to the business owner, but they have not given any thought to how they are going to share the data so that the bookkeeper can do the work.
Yeah. I think another trend that I've certainly been seeing, and I think it's going to continue, is because of the lockdown, so many people were working from home. So even bookkeeping firms that were from an office are now running virtually. And I certainly know of a few of them that have made the choice that, you know what, we're going to stay virtual. And this is not happening in the bookkeeping world. This is happening in the entire world. We're certainly seeing, where it's a shift of, hey, we don't need to have that great big office. We don't need that. We can run a successful firm and we can give people more balance. And, another example of that is Shopify. They're not going back to their huge, beautiful, amazing office that they have in downtown Ottawa. They're staying virtual. And I'm seeing that in our industry as well, where it's like, hey, wait a minute. I can run this differently because we were forced to do it and then realize that it could be done.
Yes, I agree with you, Teresa. That's been a really good move because if we were virtual before, it's given credibility to that remote assistance. And also I found we picked up more remote clients, as in interstate or overseas clients where, yes, in the past, they felt like they had to be within arm's reach of their consultant. Right. Now, they're very happy to say, oh, that's okay. You work from home, you work somewhere else. Yeah. And it was also really nice to be on, everybody can probably agree with this, to be on Zoom calls with people, have kids running in the background, dogs and cats running in and out, and that being normal now. It's
it makes business more real. We're real people. We're not just, accounting professionals or lawyers or whatever. We're actually people with families and children. And that's become so much more acceptable to have that combination of the business persona with the personal persona. We can actually, it's okay that the cat jumped up on the desk while we were having a meeting, or, or your kids ran by, and that didn't detract from your professionalism, from your ability to help them, from your ability to solve their problems. And to me, that's a beautiful shift.
Yeah.
Yes, it was really nice. And leading on from that, Teresa, the fact that there is that personal touch that was implemented in our role, it's meant more of a personal relationship with our clients. I found that instead of them just saying, oh, you've done a great job, or thanks, what's going on with my bank statement, people were actually asking, how are you going personally? That wasn't really the case prior to all of this. So I like that it has added that personal touch. It's given us that deeper relationship with our clients in that we are all people with lives. And when things went a little bit off, as in team members needed to take time off or somebody had COVID, everybody was way more flexible in negotiating that, which was nice.
We saw the same, Julie, is that, our customers accepting and being more flexible, and us as well. So I think that's a shift that's happening in the whole world, and I think it's a beautiful thing, and people wanting to have that more balance in their life and having those flexibilities. And, I'm seeing a lot more of people wanting to step out of that big corporate job and, build something of their own, have that, what you might call a lifestyle business that lets them have the flexibility they want, because now they've seen that it can happen and how to do it over the last 2 years.
Yes, that's right. It's a really good shift, actually.
Any other trends that you're seeing?
I'm seeing some software trends in relation to advisory. So there are more reporting softwares available, and they're presenting it in a different way. It's not just the big players going to the big accounting firms. That's a little bit more real and more live. Also, softwares that are wanting to review the accounting files. So do a review, come out with a diagnostic report of what they're seeing inside of a client's file. And then from there, a bookkeeper can actually make recommendations and give dashboards to clients and have more regular meetings with clients. So the softwares are changing to be able to provide those solutions for bookkeepers as well.
Yeah, and certainly from the area of e-commerce, we've just continued to see incredible growth. It hasn't really slowed down, which you might have thought as things opened back up and people started, going back to their offices and going back to shopping, you might have seen a decrease. Because people learned how to do that. They learned that they could buy online, and they learned how to do it, and they got comfortable with it. And it has just continued to, the growth has been incredible over 2020 and then 2021. I believe it's going to continue.
I'm pretty sure I've noticed an increase in the number of bookkeepers who are accessing workflow management programs. That they've been around for a long time, and there's lots of different ones to choose from. But what I've noticed this year is in our community, there's been more talk about it. Which one? What are the features?
That's good.
Why do I need one? There's just been a lot more conversation and interest in, because what I've noticed is previously it was once you've got an established business and maybe you put on staff and then you move into your workflow management programs. But what I'm seeing is that people are doing it from the get-go, and they're wanting to get all their systems in place before they get too big to put, and when they're about to put on staff and then have to set all that up. So I'm noticing a trend with more interest in setting up the workflow management right at the start.
Yes,
that's great.
That's really good news.
That's
too.
good.
I don't know if this is a trend or something that's been gradually increasing over the last few years, but I have noticed this year that people are less price conscious and more value conscious. Is that just me? Has anyone else noticed that they're happy to pay more and not so much, I want a bookkeeper for $35 an hour anymore?
Yeah.
I've noticed the same. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
I wonder why that is the case, but it's a really nice shift that, prospects are coming through and not focusing on the price as much as the value, which is fantastic. We've been trying to work towards that for a long time.
Yeah, I think part of the reason for that, we kind of touched on a little bit, but is that it's in your marketing message. So once you understand your value, and you then work on articulating that value, and that appears in your website and in your marketing. And so you become clearer about what it is that you're offering. You put that on your website and you talk about it at the networking meetings and things like that. You talk about empowering business owners or whatever the terminology that you use, but you don't actually even talk about data entry and compliance. Your website and all your marketing is all about how you're going to empower business owners and the different service offerings that you can do. So I think it comes back to your marketing message, which in turn comes back to bookkeepers becoming clear about what that is and what their target market is, what their needs are of their target market, what problems they're going to solve of that target market. So niching, again, that's probably another trend, is that's happening more and more. People are realising that it's easier, that, they choose a niche that in an industry that they love to work in, like Teresa's, the e-commerce, the systems that you need are easier to develop because it's just one industry. It's not every industry kind of things. And your marketing message becomes clearer because you know exactly what problems e-commerce people, companies are going to encounter. And this is how you present your information on your website to show them that you are going to solve those problems. Now, at the end of that, you talk about pricing, but it's like there's a whole, Teresa, you're an expert at all of this sales conversations and marketing message.
And I think it comes down to another component, which maybe touches upon mindset, is that you get in life what you tolerate. And so if you're no longer tolerating the conversation of, I want it for cheaper or, get me the cheapest bookkeeper, you're no longer tolerating that. Guess what? It no longer shows up for you. And so I know, again, knowing all of you and having worked hard on your businesses to do that and create that mindset, that's no longer a worry for you. It's no longer a conversation you're willing to have. And therefore that conversation doesn't come up very much anymore. So kudos again to all of you. And for you, listener, the same can happen for you, just like it's done for all of our guests on the show today. Let's talk a little bit about 2022. What's coming? What are we going to see in 2022? What are you going to work on in 22? And see what's cooking.
Sure. I'll share what's cooking for us. We have a very aggressive strategic plan for 2022, trying to make up for some of the things we were not able to do in the last 2 years. And of course, one of the big things that we just launched is our training academy for accounting professionals around e-commerce accounting. So our big goal is to really focus on helping other accounting professionals have the skills and the knowledge that they need to support this incredible growth in e-commerce. We need more bookkeepers who are experts at dealing with this. So that's kind of our big goal for 2022 is to empower more bookkeepers to manage all the fun complexities of e-commerce.
That's great.
Exciting.
Yeah, it is exciting. It's a lot of work, but it's exciting.
It's very needed. It's very good. Yeah. I think I'm going to focus more on, I'm very inspired by Jessica's content message before. So I'm really got to pick up my game with content and maybe set once a month at least to do something, an article or a blog, because it has been fantastic and it's something I have dropped. I do want to put on another team member and then all of the fun stuff that goes with that. So that's really what we've got for 2022.
Awesome.
Something that I am seeing for 2022 is more bookkeepers wanting to give more because they see that their clients are seeking that extra and they don't know how to get it. So while organically so far without me trying, I have been providing some support to them, I plan to become more intentional about it. That also means that I am going to be more selective about my bookkeeping clients because I tend to have this, I want to help everybody mentality. But I am getting better about saying no and guiding those that it's not that there's anything wrong with them. They are better served by somebody else. So I will become more intentional about that program and trying to make sure that the community is supported, because it saddens me whenever I see a newcomer to our industry that they have the best of intentions, but they just don't know. And they tend to have a little bit of a competitive mentality. And I've learned that together we all succeed, just like in the summit, together we rise. So I love that theme. And with that commitment to helping make the world a better place, I am becoming more intentional about linking all of the actions in my business to having a positive impact in the world. So I am a member of B1G1, and I am expanding the automation of, if this happens, this positive impact will happen in the world because you reached out to me for a session or just simply subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Yeah. We're doing the same, Jessica, for 2022 is really ramping up our partnership with B1 G1 and really trying to make the world a better place for everyone. That's awesome.
I can see for 2022 that there is hope. We're still a bit cautious about what we're going into, but I feel that, now that we are becoming unlocked, the whole world is unlocking over the next few months, hopefully. Business can rebuild and the economies can settle down a little bit more and people will feel a little more confident. They'll get back into their work environments to join in with teams again and be able to plan and really make a contribution to their businesses and to their clients. So I feel that there's, quite a bit of hope in just that rebuild that's going to be happening over the next 12 months.
Yeah, I think it's a great word for 2022, hope. I love that.
Sounds like we've got a pretty exciting 22 ahead of us with all sorts of opportunities, really. And inside of hope is opportunity. And one of the things that we haven't mentioned, and Jessica, you brought it up, Together We Rise, is all of you were not only speakers and presented sessions at the Successful Bookkeeper Summit 2021, the very first of it, and very exciting and fun event that we had, and I would consider very successful, is you did sessions and you also did spotlights. And so coming back to you, Julie, about creating more content, I remember watching your spotlight that you did and thought, wow, that's so valuable. All of you put together such valuable content for your community, and that can be done on a grander scale for all of you. And as Jessica said, it's a remarkable what it can do for your business, for your community, and what you can get back from that. And so, listener, if you missed the summit, oh my goodness, you can still catch all of the sessions are recorded. You can check those out in the Successful Bookkeeper community, and you can go to the site and sign up and get access to those. Some of them free, and you can buy the recordings if you like, but just absolute gold that came from all of you. And so I'm super excited about 2022. I'm so grateful for 2021 and being able to be connected with all of you, and as well for you, listener, being connected to you and serving you in this community that we call the Successful Bookkeeper community. And with that, we will say goodbye for this episode. And Debbie, Teresa, Jessica, Julie, Katrina, thank you all for your generosity. On behalf of all of our listeners, thank you for coming on the show and sharing what you know, where you've been in 2021 and where you're going in 2022.
You're welcome, and thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Thanks for having us on, Michael.
The pleasure is all mine, and the pleasure is of our listeners. So thank you. Wow, what a terrific episode. Thank you so much to Debbie, Katrina, Julie, Jessica, and Teresa for sharing their stories and insights about 2021. Now, it's your 2022, and listener, it's your year. So go out and go after your goals and serve your clients well. And there's no doubt you will be a success. And with that, we wrap another episode of the Successful Bookkeeper podcast. To learn more about today's wonderful guests and to get access to all sorts of valuable free business building resources, you can go to thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Until next time, goodbye.
You've been listening to The Successful Bookkeeper with Michael Palmer. For more information and to download the resources mentioned in this episode, please visit us at thesuccessfulbookkeeper.com. Thank you for listening.